So, thank you all. I have started the recording. One second. So, I welcome you all, myself Shreya, and here we are on the fresh module for basics of personal finance. We will see various topics as to why personal finance is so important and why this some of the life skills which everyone should have has been missing from the fabric of society from a very long time. I know, like, people have myths, like, people like chartered accountants or financial consultants only, they will have some advisory knowledge about finance and we can't take that kind of knowledge, but that is just myths. Everybody who is want to learn or have a passion for learning finance can get into this. So we will see how. So this is basics of personal finance, our first module, which we have, and we have various other subtopics under this. What are those? Basically, what is financial planning? Why do we say that financial planning is so important? And are we at the right place and the right time to start our journey in finance? Some people may even ask you, like, isn't that the same thing as how to invest? Like, when we say we have to do certain investment, is it similar to that? Also, life cycle of financial planning. What is the life cycle of financial planning? We say, when do we start? We are in our 20s. So, what is the life cycle of financial planning? We'll be seeing that. We'll also tell you about stepwise approach to financial planning, why it's so important, and to prevent you from any sudden unexpected event in life. So, why we will approach finance in a stepwise approach. What are the types of money personalities? See, we all have personalities, as we know, like every person is unique. And with respect to money, some people are money avoidants, some people think that, oh, no, no, money is very bad, and some people think, yeah, we should have a vigilant approach to money. So there are various money personalities which we'll discuss in detail. That is part of module 2. Apart from that, there are other things in module 2, that is working with your partner on finances. See, even if you're an individual or you are having a spouse, you have to navigate the financial management in every aspect of your personal life. So how do you navigate that with your partner? We will also be discussing a little bit on that in module 2. And overcoming certain biases, because due to our individual characteristics and mindset, we have biases towards money. And we will also see some of the confirmation bias, whatever existing beliefs we have, how it influence our approach to money. We will also see that. So these are some of the very important basic principles of financial planning. So first four topics we will discuss in the module 1. So if you guys want, so we will also have a session on module 2 later. So moving on, what is financial planning? So we all know how financial planning is so important. We have seen in the recent pandemic times that how, due to some of the mismanagement of finances, people were not able to navigate in the trouble making period of their life during COVID-19. As we have seen, the financial aspect of life is very important, whether it's related to health, whether it's related to family, or otherwise. So at a high level, financial planning is process of assessing where you stand, where you want to go, and then plotting the course to get there one step at a time. What we are saying here, so before moving on to the journey of financial planning, first we should understand, where do we stand, where, in what exact place are we in our personal finance journey. To We have to assess that. That is very important. That comes as a part of financial planning. And where do you want to go? So you, in the journey itself, you need to understand a little bit, like, what is your exact destination, where do you want to go from where you are, and then plotting the course to get there one step at a time. We have to go step by step. We cannot expect our financial journey to to get uh, importance like within a year, or within, it takes time. It's a journey, as we said. So we have to move towards it one step at a time. uh, and looking into little bit in detail, what we say when we say we have to commit to a one picture, if we say financial planning is about bringing the different pieces of your financial life together into one cohesive picture. So you might be, since you all are different ages, some of you might be living with your family, some of you might be living individually. So there are different aspects of your finance which you might need to know. Like some of you might have invested somewhere, some of you might be paying some debt, some of you want to save for the emergency. So there are different aspects of your finances. When you bring that all the pieces, different pieces of your financial life together into one picture, then you can understand that where exactly do you stand in the journey of your finance. So this is very important. This is the first initial thing, like we say, finance of financial planning, is that you need to have a clear picture, clarity on where do you stand in your life vis-a-vis your finances, whether it's about investing some of your assets, or in you're paying some loans, you have home loans, or you want to save for unexpected outcome like saving for emergency. How much funds do you want to keep, how much do you want to save, and how much do you want to invest? So in that hierarchy, where do you sit, where do you stand? So you need to understand, and you have to compare and what you should do next to progress towards your financial goals. So everybody has goals. Somebody wants to buy a home, somebody wants to get their child married, somebody wants to buy a car. So every person in their life are going, at every stage of their life, are going through some of the financial goals to pursue. So we will see how do we navigate to that. Supposing now you must be thinking, yes, I have followed a financial plan, and in the past, I have been seeing my finances regularly. So, what do we do? Now, the thing is, your life changes, it's dynamic, nothing is static. And at every stage of life, you need different financial planning. That is very important. We think like we know that last year I did something for my family, and now I'm clear, like, but within those 1 year, a lot has changed in your life. So, with different stages of your life, as life changes, we have to come up with our updated it's an ongoing process. It's not a static, it's a dynamic thing. Since our life is dynamic, everything is not fixed. So we have to get prepared. We have to get ourselves into good picture about expected and unexpected outcomes, whatever life throws us. Sometimes it may be very rosy picture. Sometimes we can say that our life is going better than what we expected. Sometimes it can happen, but sometimes we see like we get a curveball in our life and we are not able to handle that. That can disrupt whatever you are planning. Somebody, suppose, might be planning for a higher education, supposing, but due to some health issues in family and different circumstances, you're not able to pursue that goal. So there can be any situation, any time, which can occur in our life, which can disrupt our planning, right? For example, changing jobs. When you're changing jobs, you might be like taking little bit time to adjust in the new environment. So you need to see your expenses that time. Having a child, definitely when you have a child, you have to bear the expenses, living expenses of your child as well, along with family. Sometimes you want to save, sometimes you see that you're not saving up to that level where you want to feel secured. So that is saving less than your plan. So there might be different situations, buying a house, and the list goes on. When we say financial planning, we are not saying that you need to overcomplicate things. Like, I'm not saying you have to plan for the next 10, 20, 30 years. That's not possible. And even we don't recommend that. But we need to have a little bit picture and an idea of where we are heading and where we are and what we need to do. What are the action plans we need to take to reach where we want to go? So we are not saying that we need to plan it for a T, or we want to plan it for every detail. That will be like overcomplicating things, and we are not going to be fixing everything. But we need to have a rough picture and idea of where we are heading, where we stand, and evolving in the process. And some people have even queries like, can we really afford financial planning? So some people do DIY, do it yourself. They know what they're doing, and they are very aware of their situation, but some people need advisors. So it depends on various kind of expenses you have and the kind of budget you have. So it all depends on that, but definitely it's very important, either you learn yourself or you take help from financial advisors. Now, one of the myths we are going to break is, isn't it the same thing as how to invest? Some people have a lot of myths about financial planning. Is it for the people who make a lot of money? Some people may earn in 50 lakhs above, or they might be above earning in crores. So sometimes we feel like, no, no, we are in not that budget constraint and we don't require financial planning. We are not in. But financial planning is not related to how much money you're making. It can be even for people who have negative debt. Supposing, um, I have met clients, like supposing they are in negative debt. So even financial planning is required for them as well. It's not even for people who are earning in 15 CR or 20 CR. Definitely, they might need a different level of financial planning, but it is for all the people who are having negative debt as well as positive debt.
Ma, langka.
Yeah, can somebody go on? Yeah. So sometimes people say we don't have kids. Do we need financial planning? We don't have kids. Do we don't want to buy a house right now? So do we need? So I'm not saying like immediately you will be needing that money, but you will have certain goals at a certain stage of your life. You will have kids. So do you want to plan for that? You will buy a house at some point of your day. So
Buksan mo.
you want to make yourself prepared. So these are some of the myths we want to break for whom financial planning is. So I believe financial planning is for everyone, even person is in positive debt or a negative debt. Financial planning will help you achieve your goals, prepare you for expected experience and less stressful life, and be more satisfied with your finances. You want to be satisfied with your finances. You don't want to feel overwhelmed all the time, because one of the things like nowadays in marital setup also, we have seen that one of the major reasons now, even in some of the western countries and India and everywhere, like mostly we have seen finances are one of the major issues where people are facing, and they are facing losses and they are not able to navigate as expected in their marital life. And finances are one of the major reasons where people should focus on small healthy habits started earlier, have a larger impact than more drastic. Definitely if you take small steps, baby steps, then you will have better financial health down the line, 4 years down the line, 3 years down the line, when you start small. So it's an ongoing process, and it is for everyone. It is useful for everyone. Either you are in 20s, you will have a different mindset. In your 30s, you will have different mindset. We will see later in the module that how it differs from people in their 20s. It differs to the people in their 30s, similarly 40s, 50s, similarly at different ages of your life. It differs. That's going to differ from person to person. Definitely it is not one fits all, one size fits all. It's different for different people according to their priorities and their goals in their life. It is not like whatever I'm saying you need to follow. It depends on your priorities and your goals, what you want to achieve in your life 5 year down the line and 2 years down the line. It depends, and it will change as
Flower.
it changes. It's about assessing. It's about assessing where you stand
Yeah.
and identifying the next best action to help you get it there. So you can consider it as a navigator in car. Supposing you're driving a car and you want to take a route, best possible route to your destination. So definitely you need to know where you're standing, what path you need to take, and where you want to go. What is the destination, and what are the next basic? Like we can have this analogy. What are the next best action which you need to take to get there? So this is very important. So now we are going to go after the introduction of financial planning. Why do we need it? Who need it? And what are the various myths people are currently following in financial planning? So now we are going to go in detail life cycle of financial planning. Financial planning is highly personal, and your goals and priorities are going to evolve throughout your lifetime. As I already mentioned, it depends on person to person. A kid in his 20s or in her 30s, in her 20s, will differ priorities and differ to a person who is in his 30s, has a family, has kids, want to buy a house. So it depends where you are in your state of life and where you're planning to go. So planning when you're 25 is
Huh?
different than planning in your 65. That is very much obvious. So there are some, we are saying there are some good practices of financial planning. What are those? Spending less than you bring home, investing wisely. This is important. We don't want to overspend if whatever budget we have planned. So we have to spend less and invest more. So that is one of the basic principle rule which we follow in finance. Having right insurance in place. Insurance is for, as you all know,
Anak ni
insurance is
ma'am.
an important part, integral part of our lifestyle, where we want to have health insurance, medical insurance, car insurance, and every insurance where you think you would need it for an emergency situation. Focusing on healthy habits, on finding the balance between enjoying the present and saving for the future. Sometimes people say, yeah, we are not able to save properly for the future. and we are not able to enjoy our present life. So we have to find the right balance, because life doesn't repeat, and we don't get the time what we are enjoying in our youth, and definitely we want to enjoy as much possible whatever we have in our youth than when we are age old. So we have to find the right balance between enjoying the present and saving as well for the future. That is also very important. Right balance is required. So uh, here comes the practice of financial advisor, where we will help you navigate your financial journey. Supposing in your 20s, now the life cycle has started. In your 20s, you might struggle to balance enjoying the early phase of your career in life without getting your financial journey off the right foot by choosing right employee benefits, paying down debt, or saving for retirement. And you might be most interested in establishing credit and tackling debt. So, guys, I'm just going to have to mute, pause. People might not be able to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we are fine now. Sorry. Sorry for the trouble. So, in your 20s, you might struggle like you have just started your employment journey and you're not in that saving mode. You want to just have the right employee benefit plan, paying down your debt, whatever loans you have taken. Supposing you have taken education loans, you want to pay that. You don't want to have much of attentions in that. You're not worried about that future planning. You might be most interested in establishing credit, like if you want to purchase a home later on, so you have to have a good credit, so you are just focusing on that. Here we must focus on establishing healthy financial habits and finding balance between paying down debt and saving for an emergency. These are some of the basic things which we consider in our 20s. Rest we don't consider that much. But when you are in your 30s and you're progressing, you might face additional complexity in your life. You might be changing jobs, changing cities, moving, having a family. You have to start a family and you have to, pay for the family as well, their expense lifestyle. So there are different kind of pressure which gets involved. Plus, you have to save for your future. As you get older, you might be most interested in balancing saving for your family while saving for your own future. We encourage you to make sure that you have a backup plan in place to provide your families for an unexpected that we have all seen during pandemic. Many people lost their jobs and they were not able to navigate into their financial journey. So we recommend, when you have family and when you are also earning for somebody else, many people are dependent on you, supposing your spouses, your family, elderly people, you yourself. So you must have a backup plan in place, supposing due to an unexpected event. So this is very important. We recommend in 30s. In your 40s and 50s, you want to, you might be anxious that your retirement age is coming closer. You want to balance between saving for the future, paying down your debt, and helping others as well. You might be having kids and you want to navigate how to kickstart their financial journey or their education journey. You want to help others in that stage, and you might also be thinking about your retirement plan. So in that stage, you also have to prioritize your own financial future above all else. You have to define a plan that accounts for unexpected events and healthcare costs. Definitely, in that age, you don't want to provide any burden to your family members. So you want to have a healthy financial habits and be prepared for a little bit about unexpected events so that you don't get overwhelmed. We are just wanting you to manage somehow, not get tensed or anxiety about that, but just want to have a healthy habits. Follow a consistent approach to understanding and approaching your finances to get benefits from that to fulfill your goals. And we have to have some safeguards, as I mentioned, some of the financial instruments like insurance, health insurance plans. So some of the habits you need to follow and regularly keep on giving the insurance plan would cover which you have taken. Just give small amount to that, because while you register earlier, you have to give less amount. So you have to safeguard that way if anything unexpected happens. We've also given you some of the stepwise approach to financial planning, right? Till now we were discussing, yeah, this is the life cycle of financial planning. We navigate in different age. We are at a different stage in our life, and we have different kind of problems at different age in 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. So, what are the stepwise approach we have prepared? A stepwise approach to financial planning. We can adopt a six-step approach. It's a roughly approach. We can help you understand where you stand, plot your best course, and adjust along the way. One of the famous quotes, as mentioned by Winston Churchill, is Plans are of little important, but still we must plan. Planning is essential. Although in life, as I mentioned, it's very dynamic and it's very instant. We don't know what's happening in a week or in a month. Everything can change, and sometimes we are also not prepared for it. But still, plans are of little important, but still planning is required, and we must. Planning is essential to lead a secure life. It is important. Stepwise approach we have made. So step number one, we understand what you own, what you owe to others, and what you spend. So these are the three basic principles we say in financial planning. Like, what do you own? What are the assets that you own? Supposing you have a home, you have savings account, investments, retirement plans, a home. So whatever you can evaluate basis of your assets, what you own, will define whatever you are having. The process starts by making sure that you have a solid understanding of your current financial situation. As I mentioned, when you start a car, you must, whenever you're navigating to a destination, so you need to understand where do you start, what is your starting point. You need to evaluate that. Then only you will have a clear picture of where you are, where you want to go, and you will have clarity. Then only you can make better decisions, and whatever turns you make during that journey will also define your target to destination, your goals. So you need to know what you own, basically your assets, and you also need to evaluate your liabilities. What are the liabilities? The loans that you pay, whether it's education loan, student loan, credit cards. These are also some of the liabilities, mortgages, personal. So you need to evaluate that, and you need to evaluate what and all you're spending on daily basis. So assets minus your liabilities is your net worth. So you need to evaluate where you stand and how you want to navigate now in the future, and how much you are spending. These are all expenses. So you need to understand. Step number two, identify your goals, concerns, and preferences. We need to identify where we currently stand and where we want to go, and what might stand in our way. Some of the, as I mentioned, if there is a turn, if there are, supposing you book a cab and there is some traffic, so that navigator will already check what is the best route and what are the traffic conditions you are going to face. So considering those situations, it will give you the route. So similarly, you need to also navigate the bad turns that you take, any bad circumstances which can affect your financial life. You need to have a clear understanding of that, but what might stand in front of your way which could affect your journey. So you need to have a little bit understanding of that, what can hinder your action plan to from your source to your target. You need to know about them as well. Goals are typically fall into three buckets. One is a short term goal, one is a mid term goal, and one is a long term goal. Example, what is the example of a short term goal? If I ask you, having an emergency fund is a short term goal. Yeah, if you want to have something for a mishap, you want to save, so it's a short term goal. For mid term goal might be like a buying a home. It can be a mid term goal. Long term goal can be saving for your retirement. Yeah, that is a long term goal. So this is step number two. Step number three, now we know where we are. Now we know what is our goal, what are our priorities, what is a short term goal, mid term goal, and a long term goal roughly. Now the next is the action plan. Step number three, plot your course. How you want to go from your current financial position and your destination. You can assess whatever need to accomplish to get from point A to point B. Example, when you use navigation for traveling, it shows you route after considering traffic, construction. Figure out if you're in a good spot, an okay spot, or a bad spot. Consider this as an analogy. From there, you can course correct and understand where you need to go. So, from going to your destination, you need to understand what are hurdles you may face, and you need to consider that. And then you have to navigate and plot your course accordingly once you know the source and the target goal destination. Step number four, identify your next best action. What is the next possible best action that you can take when you have understood that this is where I want to reach? What is the little baby steps you can make towards the progress of your financial goal? Sometimes you may think like, yeah, I'm not saving that much, which I need to save for buying a home. So little bit, you can take like a 1000 rupees per month you want to increase per month savings in your saving account. So little steps you can take to make progress towards your target destination end goal. Or if supposing you're spending too much on credit card, so what, how can you reduce or how can you pay off the expenses of credit card? You can do small steps on that. Suppose you need to cross it can give you an analogy. Suppose you need to cross the bridge 20 miles away. What do? If you're not going to take the next turn, you will not reach that bridge. So definitely you have to take the next best action to reach to your goal. You have to make that turn to reach to the bridge. So that you need to check what steps I need to take to go to the target. This is a stepwise approach. Focus. Step number 5, focus on that action for the next 30, 60, 90 days. 30, 60, 90 action plan which we tell. If you have to follow that, understand, and sometimes the target or the end goal might be very complex, it might be very bigger. Break down that larger goal into micro goals and check box the micro goals first to lead to that larger goal. Sometimes we see that goals are not that easy. They're high hanging fruits, they're not low hanging fruits. Sometimes we have to consider the low hanging fruit first. We have to consider, yeah, what is the minimal target which I can achieve to reach to a final goal. So you have to break down the goals into smaller micro goals to help you achieve this extremely important mindset, as it helps you keep focused. Sometimes you think, no, my goal is far too away and I can't reach that. break it down Break it down to smaller goals and try to achieve that. That will give you a lot of confidence and boost and keep you motivated, because sometimes we feel our goals are unreachable and we feel very disheartened and we feel hopeless. So break it down to smaller goals and try to achieve them. Smash your goals and then start for the next micro goal, and similarly break it and achieve those smaller goals to achieve the bigger goal. This will keep you focused, it will keep you disciplined and keep you motivated. It will also reduce the pressure of getting overwhelmed. Sometimes a bigger goal might think it is unreachable, and we might not be able to reach it. So you break it down and try to complete those goals so that you're able to accomplish at all. So these are some of the steps which we follow for the fruitful financial planning. Step number 6 finally is to repeat whatever you have studied and practice. Practice is very important. Repeat whatever you have done and practice along the way. Start your journey to financial health step by step. And there are a lot of things where we can now navigate. As we mentioned, these are the basics of fundamental financial planning, but we have a lot of things. Hope you guys like this session, and let me know in comments how it was. The next module which we have is what are the various types of money personalities. Some people, they might be money avoidant. Some people, they be more vigilant. They don't want to spend that much. They are very cautious of spending. Some people are avoidant. No, no, they say money is not good and it only breaks the relationships. It creates differences. But we have to take a mindset of a different approach to money. So we don't have to be avoidant. We don't have to be extremely some people do show off money for the status, like, yeah, they want to overspend it sometimes just to create a money status. But we have to be very vigilant with money. We want to follow approach to money so that it helps us navigate through our life. It's not just for money status we want to do everything. Sometimes it's not just for overspending, and sometimes it's not just avoid, and we can't just avoid money. We can't say that money is not important. Money is important. It is important for your healthcare, for your education, for your dreams and aspirations. So but we have to navigate it in a good way. Working with your partner, as I mentioned, it's very important, as individually how you handle money, and along with your partner, your spouse must have clearer communication about finances, so that it doesn't prove to be a barrier in your marital life. And sometimes we have seen that certain issues we face with your partner and spouses, and overcoming certain biases. What are the confirmation bias? What are the reference bias? Why we always stick to whatever beliefs and things we have already uh, seen in our lifetime, and sticking to it, not seeing it from a different angle. So that our mind is full of biases, as we all know. We have to overcome those biases and get our mind clearer to make money decisions, so that you don't face any problem going down the line. So thank you all for joining. Let me know how you like this session. For anyone who wants recording of this session and is interested in taking a full course from us, we have 10 to 15 module course, and we provide um, one-on-one teaching coaching also, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. So we have a lot of coaching. You can contact us on sales@cornerstoneadvinfo.com. You can contact me via call or WhatsApp me 628, and India code is +91 628 372 0458. Thank you for joining, and you can get the recording and the PPTs via email. Do email to us and join us for our complete module session. We can tell you about more about personal finances. We have a lot of content coming your way. So we'll stop the recording. Thank you all for joining. Do share your feedback, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.